Today, I will be exposing myself for your entertainment. Hello, I'm Sophie Von On. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be reading through my old writing and seeing how I've improved. So, if you've watched my All My Projects video, you would know that I've written a lot of small projects that I've written maybe 3,000 or so words in and then dropped because in reality I couldn't really do much with the ideas. And what you might also know is that I haven't really been writing that much in my life. Like seriously, like actually writing to get a product, I guess. So I don't have that much data, that many resources, but I do have a few from probably 2016 onwards, but it's really bad. It's rough. So I have 2 Google accounts here that I've used interspersed through my writing. Also, I have some writing things up here from other people because in the writing Discord, join, we have a little feedback tab, so I have a few of other people's writing here that I've been able to read, which is really cool. But I have just stuff here. This is also a very random account here, just has photos and stuff. Look. Oh, it's the babysitter. Oh my god. Project babysitter. Ooh. I also, on this account, have the old, or like, a version of Project What? Draft 1. So, that's kind of dope. I did move it to a different account though, so I don't need that. I want to see what some of these are before I even start. Oh my god, I know what this is. Oh my god, I know what this is. I know what this is. Okay, I'm just gonna read this real quick for y'all. So this says, opens with a girl, maybe like 13, helping her brother take out the trash. It's like 8 or 9, it's in like some suburb thing. Quiet, with like some light traffic in the distance. Something about helicopters. Brother doesn't come back, but he eventually does. More helicopters, and that's the opening scene, like for, I wanted to like, I don't know, maybe I was thinking of like a film thing, and I thought maybe go in a paranormal way, but I ended up using this taking out the trash in the middle of the night, sort of eerily quiet thing for Project Glass. Yeah. So, yeah, I had that idea and I was like, that's how I can open Project Glass. And then I did. Oh my god. And then this, also titled Thing, is like a video game RPG sort of thing that I was trying to do. I don't know, but it says, you wake up on a bench. It's dark. A chilly breeze rustles your hair. A street light spills light onto the concrete beneath you. You stand. Check inventory. And you have your dad's jacket, a bag of uncooked elbow pasta, your parents' wedding rings, $24.57, a journal of your mother's, and a radio. That's that. I do still want to work on this, or like work with this, I guess, but that's that. And then some of these are just like random writing things that I did at like 2 in the morning. This one's called Dead. And it was just a thing that I wrote at 1:38 in the morning, so that's great. But this isn't that old, so, you know, we're gonna go to the old stuff first. Oh, I just found a gem of a thing. Oh no. Okay. Alright, I didn't say this beforehand, but excuse the wet hair. Anyways, this is Bracelets. A story that I began writing in 6th grade, I think. And as you can tell, there's only 3 chapters, maybe technically 4. Let's see. So there's technically 4 chapters, and it is about a group of, I think, 6. Oh, I don't remember their names, but as you can see, they're pretty spicy. We've got Cloud, Caramel, and Jar so far. Those are their names. They have those names because they gave themselves those names. You ready for this fire world building? It's a superhero story. I should say that first and foremost. These 6, I think, kids were kicked out, or like they were disposed of by their families because of a fatal genetic mutation, which, first and foremost, awful parenting. But they were thrown out by their parents for this genetic mutation thing, and then they slowly all find each other, and then like the catalyst of the story was supposed to be that the 6 of them find these bracelets in, like, an alleyway, some trash thing, that give them superpowers. Okay? And, okay, I will never forget this, but the main conflict and the motivation behind the antagonist, which is one of the 6, is that they kept calling her short. Huh? Huh? I don't get it, but here we are. I don't know, but I think Cloud is the one that is the antagonist. So let's just read this introduction. Why not? Alright, first and foremost though, here's some character stuff. If Cloud is 10, Caramel is 2 years older, Jar and Special are 2 years younger, and Kiwi and Corn are 4 years younger. So those are all the names. Those are all of them. I don't remember, like, anything about them, but that's them. Alright, I'm gonna show it on screen, but I guess I'll also read it, because that would be kind of boring. I'm sorry, but your child has a genetic mutation, which may be fatal. Said by 6 different doctors to 6 different pairs of parents, all scared of what would happen to their children. A few years later, doctors didn't know what to do anymore to help this mutation, so all 6 children were abandoned and left on the streets. It didn't take them all long to find each other, however. Fruit and Vegetable had been friends since they were born and stayed together. Cloud and Caramel lived close together and bumped into each other, and Jar and Special went to the same daycare and became friends. They all had normal names, but were never taught them, so they each gave each other names. Cloud was always odd and loved peace and quiet. She would find peace by laying in a calm field and watching the clouds. She felt like a cloud, just drifting around the earth, but never told anyone about it. She doesn't trust anyone enough. Special was never considered normal and would always go to his mother about it. His mother loved him, but his dad wanted him out. Before being thrown to the streets, she attended a school. At this school, he was always lonely, which led to coming home crying to his mother. She would comfort him with a little "it's okay" whisper and a hug. Jar has always been a bitter fellow. Everyone that got to know him knew that he was heartless and almost cared about nothing at all. This was far from the truth. There was something, or rather someone, that Jar would give up everything for. He really cared about Special. They were both abandoned around the same time and stuck together ever since. Jar loved making Special happy, but never would admit it. His name, however, came from his collection of jars. Many jars. He would fill these jars with fireflies. Then he would sit back, allowing a small smile slip up as he watched Special watch the fireflies in awe. Okay. Fruit and Vegetable had been friends since a very young age. When they were abandoned, they did not stay in one place for very long. They traveled a lot and found themselves in a country filled with farms and fields. They had no other way to communicate besides light taps and little noises. So, while they were walking around the farms and fields, they started looking for words. Eventually, they stumbled upon a large sign that was advertising fresh fruits and vegetables, with a sale on kiwis. Caramel had always been a sweetheart. She got it from her dad, the one she was most fond of. Before she was abandoned, he would take her to the summer carnival every year. She would always get a caramel apple before they left. These were her most special memories, and whenever she feels sad, she thinks about those times, cherishing that she was able to have lovely experiences at least once in her life. So, clearly, from that page alone, I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah, it is one page. Very on-the-nose writing, very, telling and not showing. And also very confusing if this was the first thing you read if you ever picked up this book. Yeah, I'm confused, and I wrote this in 2017, and it just keeps going. I'm not gonna go any further. But, yeah, I was writing this for school. I was in a class called Natural Talent Development or something like that, and I guess that was the talent I wanted to develop, which, honey, it's not awful. I will say that. It's just the placement of it. I think this would be better after we actually got introduced to the characters, not in the prologue. But moving swiftly on, let's see what else we have. Okay, we're gonna click on this one called Get It, I guess. Oh my god, I remember this. So, there's no title for this. This is just a story that I did. It's like I think I maybe just read Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, and I was really channeling that whole high school confusing, like, relationship sort of thing. So I have 2 chapters, I guess. called Chapter 1, My Guy, and Chap 2. Alright, what are the characters' names? One is Drew, I think one is Connie, Evan, and Jeremy. Alright, we have Drew, Connie, Evan, and Jeremy. Drew is the main character. Connie is the love interest. Evan and Jeremy are friends. And before I even read this, like I'm just like scanning over this, this reads like a fan fiction. This paragraph right here, she's so pretty. On the first day of school, this girl is wearing a light blue knee-high pleated skirt and a yellow t-shirt with some sort of flower design on it. Like, girl, chill. They don't need to know all that. Her curly light brown hair goes down to the middle of her back, being a little wider than her shoulders. She's wearing chunky white sneakers and socks that stop at the middle of her calf. Next to her, I look like a mess, and I put a decent amount of thought into my outfit this morning. I'm wearing baggy jeans I painted shapes on, Doc Martens, and a slightly too large red t-shirt with some restaurant's logo on it. I got it from Goodwill. Like, what am I doing? And once again, that's not like the worst writing ever. It's just a little excessive. And then the rest of this, I remember, goes on to be very repetitive, where everyone is just talking about class and like, oh, what class do you have next? And then they go to that class. And it's like, oh, then what do you have next? And then they go. And it just keeps going that way. I also realized that this is, one, in first person, which I don't write very much. I have one first person project at the moment. And two, it's in present tense. A lot of my old writing is in present tense. I don't remember ever writing present tense, but apparently that's all I did. At least a lot of it is in this. I think I might switch a little bit, but like this third sentence. I'm tackled on my way to my first hour by my best friend, Connie Thomas. I hug her back. Like, what? I'm a past tense kind of gal now. I can't believe I used to write in present tense. I cannot do that anymore. Huh, maybe I just didn't realize. Alright, but I think that's the only two actual projects I have on here. Yeah, everything else is kind of just random. So let's go on to the next account. And let's see. Okay, we have the babysitter. Project Babysitter, Draft 1. That's here. This one's called Who Knows Nowadays. I know that has to be writing. Honestly, what? Open that in a new tab, why not? I also know that these strangely titled ones are definitely writing. Let's see if I'll actually share them though. Alright, I've got quite a bit. So I think those last two were from 2017, 2018. This is from 2019, and last edit was on November 27th. I started this in July of 2019, and then I stopped during NaNoWriMo. How many words is it? 34,000. So I have 34,000 in this project. That's not to say that, you know, any of them are very good, but I have quite a bit of stuff. I have some, like, little notes in here for myself, and a lot of typos, apparently. Jeez. But it's 57 pages in total, and 21 chapters. And I feel like this is a super confusing way to write this, but I opened with... I guess I should talk first about this. So, this is Project Babysitter, a historical, sort of Victorian-era murder story where my main character is the murderer, and she marries rich husbands and kills them and gets the money. You know how it is. And she takes on, it goes from like when she's 10 to when she's like 50. That's when I wanted the story to go. And over that time, she takes different names to, you know, stay on the DL. And I start this story off with a flash forward of, I think maybe her third husband, before chapter 2 goes back to her being a child. I don't know what happened there. Chapter 1 is also only 400 words. So, yeah, I'm just gonna read this one real quick. Let's see what 2019 me was doing. What 1 year ago me was doing. Chapter 1 of The Babysitter. Thunder shook the house as a woman lit a cigar. Gray smoke bloomed from the mouth of the red-lipped woman as she took a sip of similarly red wine. She inhaled. The warm glow of candlelight accompanied her as she held up a newspaper from the day before, the head title screaming, "William White Killed. Her Dear Husband." She smirked as she read, "The culprit unknown. Detectives began to search the nearby area for him." Him. She chuckled at the line. She blew out the candle, tossing the newspaper on the seat she once occupied. Walking over to the rain-soaked window, she parted the curtains, inviting in the gloomy light of the rainy afternoon. On the road before her, a carriage, led by 2 black horses, halted before the house. Stepping out, a man, wide and tall, a cigar resting in his mouth. A thin man slithered out behind him. He handed the cigar to a hand in the car as the woman put down her own. She stepped down the stairs, sliding open the door after hearing the man knock. She greeted them sweetly. "Can I help you?" "Good afternoon, miss," he answered. "You can call me Charlie," she interrupted. "Okay, Charlie. I am Detective Franklin, and I am here with my partner, Green." She invited them inside, taking their jackets and hats, placing them on the stand which still held her late husband's. Leading them to the living room, she sat them down, headed into the kitchen, and came back with teacups and cookies for the 2 men. Thanking her, Franklin took out a small, damp journal and pen. His partner took a bite of his cookie. She had done this 3 times in the last 24 hours. 3 pairs of men, 6 hats, and 6 coats, 3 different types of tea, and 3 different cigars. 3 sets of questions, and making sure she cried at the right time. How could this be any different? The all-too-familiar questionnaire rang off the tall walls of her home as her tea began to cool. The rain seemed to batter the windows harder each time the woman responded. Thunder crashed and shook the glass. Lightning flashed into their eyes, encouraging the woman's eyes to tear up. "May we, if it's not too difficult," the detective began cautiously. "See the body?" The woman stiffened for a short, almost instinctual moment, sighed, and nodded. She rose from the red velvet couch she sat on, and led, somberly, the 2 detectives towards the darkened office. The woman stepped into the room, weaving past the furniture and her victim to the back wall, where she threw open the curtains, letting the gray light into the room. It cast long shadows onto the ground, painting the woman's silhouette over the floor. The detectives knelt over the body. The woman gazed out the window. "Ma'am?" Green spoke. "Charlie," she responded. "Yes, Charlie," he continued. "How long has White been like this?" In all honesty, the writing itself is not awful. I'm gonna say that I kind of write like that now. Anyways, though a little cleaner and a little less repetition, but not awful, not the best either. What my problem was with the story was the plot. There was no conflict, there was no tension, there was no high stakes. It was just literally following this woman get away with everything she did. But that's enough of that. I might return to that story, like, at some point. I don't know. Because I really do like the idea of that story, but, you know, who knows? Who knows? Alright, this, titled, is from a story with a witch named Miss Wartheart, which, once again, I do want to revisit because I think her character would be very fun. She's not like, she's like an old, like an ancient witch. She's not like a 20-something, like, trying to, like, go through college, but also, like, summon a demon or something. But I read this here, this little piece, and I was like, oh, that actually isn't too bad. I could name a few things, but I'm just gonna read that little paragraph. As he stepped back, he saw Miss Wartheart take a bottle from her bag, full of luminescent purple liquid. She drank it quickly as purple smoke began flowing from her fingertips. Purple and blue orbs of energy began forming in her hands, and as they did, she threw them at the black energy. She looked back at Benny for a split second, just as he ran back into the house. Not awful. 2018 me. Not awful. Not awful. Wow. That's a surprise. Benjamin was like Miss Wartheart's apprentice. I think maybe I recently just watched Howl's Moving Castle or something, because that's kind of the vibe. I kind of get off from what I remember of this story. One of my main issues as I started writing was dialogue. Dialogue is embarrassing in my old stories. It's just so stale. I didn't know what I was doing. Whew. But that was like one of the biggest problems I had with writing in the beginning. So I'm not gonna read. I'm not gonna read dialogue. But that is kind of all I have, low-key. I don't have anything else. I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure I deleted a lot of it. Not the best thing to do. But yeah, that's basically all I've written in the 3 years that I've actually been writing, or at least trying to. It's not as bad as I anticipated. My dialogue's a little bad. My telling and not showing is god-awful, especially in 2017. But, I mean, I've definitely improved over time, which is really nice. That's really nice. And it's nice to know that I have, in fact, improved. But yeah, that is it from me. thank you so much for watching. Sorry that the got so dark. I didn't realize the sun was gonna set. Maybe once I print out draft 2 of Project What, I'll read a little bit of draft 1 for y'all. If you care. If you care to hear it. But yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.